Hello and welcome to In a Spiritual Sense, where we discuss all things spiritual, from growing your intuition, speaking with spirit guides, diving into past lives, the paranormal, and more. Join me, Stacey Piagno, where we work to bridge the gap between science and spirit. Hello and welcome back to another episode of In a Spiritual Sense. I'm your host, Stacey Piagno, and today we're going to get into some mind-bending topics as we have our very first guest, Sam Joshi, joining us. Now, Sam is a practitioner in the field of quantum healing and was awakened to the spiritual life at an early age. Inspired by his father, he began to realize that the cosmic journey of the soul far exceeds the physical constraints of the body. He was fascinated with the mysteries presented by the ancient pyramids and other phenomena across the world, seeking as much information as he could find on the esoteric. After living and working in India and later moving to the United States, Sam has incorporated years of learning with his own transformative experiences to now help others find their path. Alongside his wife, their mission is to bring relief and healing to those seeking answers. Everyone, please welcome Sam Joshi. Hello, Sam. Welcome.
Hi, Stacey. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming today. I know that you've got a busy schedule, but we're so excited to have you on. So I'm very thankful that you were able to join us today.
Well, thank you for having me. And it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, taking all this to so many of your audiences. And I really hope that we can touch their lives positively.
Yes.
So beautiful what you're doing, and very happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, we're going to just jump right in with it. I would love for you to introduce yourself and give a little bit of your background, and then kind of share with us how you got started with the career of quantum healing and what exactly that is.
Okay. So my name is Sam Joshi. I originally come from India, and before getting into all this, what I do today, both me and my wife, we were trained as graphic designers. So when we came to this country, we were graphic designers. Then we had our own ad agency. We had our agency in Tampa, and we were doing fantastic. We were doing more money than probably we even needed. And every evening when I used to come home, in spite of having so much money, and I had been taught when I was young that, a good career will, flow into a very successful life, and success means a lot of money. And if you have a lot of money, it'll bring you a lot of joy and happiness. That last step was not happening. It was missing. And there was nothing that, I was really doing anything about it. But it was kind of like a burning question within me as to why am I not able to feel? There was like a hole within me. And one day, out of nowhere, an enlightened being happened to come in my life, or maybe I happened to step into his life, whatever, and it just changed our life dramatically. This was way back in 2007. By the time we got introduced to what is spirituality, within maybe about a year and a half or two, we had closed our business, which was a very successful advertising agency in Tampa. And we moved to Tennessee, to a commune, which is a spiritual commune. And from there, we moved to India. And my wife, Shoma, myself, and Suneet, who's my son, we three moved to what we call an ashram in India. We were there for about 6-7 years. And during this course of time, a lot of things happened on the level of the mind, the level of the body, a lot of experiences which are hard to describe in regular terms. And that is what led us to this. And then several years ago, when Shoma and I were having a little bit of a roller coaster kind of a feeling in our lives, she was looking for answers. And that, I think, was one of the best things that ever happened. See, people look at problems as, oh my God, why did God give me these problems? No, 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 no. There's always a way of looking at life. If we look at a life, we can, look at a half glass. We can look at it as a half glass empty or a half glass full. Fortunately for us, that roller coaster ride for that period in our life, when Shoma was looking for answers, it led her to Dolores. We did not even know that QHHT or past life regression or Dolores canon or anything like this existed. But something guided her. And the moment she saw it on YouTube, she said, we got to do this. And that just opened up the whole world of QHHT.
Yeah.
What is QHHT? QHHT is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Every person, every client, or every practitioner, they perceive it in different ways. In my own perception, quantum stands for instantaneous healing hypnosis technique. It is a very, very beautiful, it's a beautiful process. And I think the beauty of this process is that it is not a psychological process. It is a spiritual process. Now, whatever I say throughout this recording, throughout this video, this is my slice of truth. For somebody else, their slice of truth may be a little different. Each one of us has come here to experience, our own spiritual journey. So in that way, I feel that QHHT is a spiritual process. It's not a psychological process. And when we say that, that means it is a very profound process. It is not something where I try to make reason with you, or it is not something where I try to convince you about my belief systems or, judgments or anything like that. It is simply connecting you with your higher self, that infinite source of love and wisdom, who then guides you to whatever relevant time period that you need to imagine, visualize, revisit, experience, feel, sense, taste, touch, smell, whatever it might be, to bring yourself clarity, healing, and wisdom in your life. And it does it in the most beautiful ways. Generically, people call this as past life regression. Yes, in a way it is past life regression, but technically your higher self may take you to future lives, help you experience parallel realities within the same life that you're living right now, past lives, lives of an animal, a plant, or even a stone. In some cases, it may just fire up your pineal gland or your pineal gland, and that may lead to bursts of colors, geometric shapes, download of codes, upgrades of whatever you need for you to be able to fulfill your life purpose. Whatever, blockages are there, whatever limitations are there, this profound process helps you drop them, let go. And sometimes you may understand as to what is happening, sometimes you may not. But that is the beauty of this. So it's a very beautiful process. I know I went on for a long time.
Yeah, no, take your time, honestly. No, you know how I feel. I talk all the time. But no, guys, I've done a hypnosis session with Sam, and it was absolutely amazing. Let alone, the time we just spent talking with each other in the beginning of the session. And I think what I've decided to do is I'm going to share what I've learned
Yes,
on
please.
next week's episode, because I really want to give you the floor today, Sam. And during our time together, I know that we had discussed a lot of powerful things. Can you explain a little bit more about the subconscious? Because, it's my opinion that understanding the subconscious is really kind of like the foundation of everything that we're going to be discussing today, of everything on the show. And we have talked about it on previous episodes, but I would love to get your description of what is the subconscious and why is it important?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm going to give you two different descriptions.
Okay.
So if you ever look at the picture of an iceberg, If you have that beautiful picture which you see on Instagram or Facebook or something, you
Mhm.
will see that a little part of that iceberg is that beautiful snow-clad, whatever iceberg or the mountain or whatever. But what we don't see is that depth which is below the sea level, which they say, I think, is 7/8 or something like that.
Mhm.
So there is 7/8 which is below the sea level, which you cannot see, and there is a little bit above the sea level which you can see. So I'm going to use that analogy to help you understand this conscious and subconscious mind.
Mhm.
Think of it that what we can see, or what you and I and the viewers who are listening or looking at this video right now, we are using our conscious mind, our thinking, our logical, analytical, strategic, calculative mind. Now, below that is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like the entire data, you can call it like a data warehouse,
Mhm.
the data bank of all the memories that you have gathered or that you have been exposed to since you separated as a fractal from the source itself. That means you have been through all kinds of stages of everything that existence has seen: air, water, earth, fire. You've been a single-celled, double-celled animal, then you have become whatever, maybe, small little creatures, fish, amphibian, hundreds of lives of animals, hundreds of lives of human beings, plants, trees, stones, anything which is possible. Because everything in this existence has consciousness. So we have gone through several hundreds of those lives. And the memories of those lives are held in the subconscious. And these are trillions and trillions and trillions of memories. I mean, it would be even foolish to put a number of them on them. And between the conscious and the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. It is like a layer which does not allow these two things to mix up. The relevance of this I will maybe explain a little later. Now, if you look at it from a different point of view, the spiritual point of view, the subconscious or the higher self or God, universe, oversoul, guardian angel, superconsciousness, whatever you want to call it, is that entity which is the infinite love and wisdom with whom we connect, or whose past projection we are, and from whom we seek the guidance to see what is happening in our lives and why is it happening, whether it is relationship issues or some past traumas, or some health conditions that we are going through, or why our careers or finances, whatever work and money is not going the way we want, or how we can seek financial abundance, or how can we know what is our journey, what have we come here to do, what is our life purpose. So it is that higher self or that subconscious whom we connect with and ask for guidance, healing, clarity, and wisdom. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it was perfect. And I almost I almost started laughing and I almost interrupted you because when you said the iceberg analogy, I don't know if I've read that somewhere before, but I actually used that analogy on another episode. And I thought that was so
Beautiful.
funny because I mean, I didn't think you're guys, that was not planned. And it was funny when we were in our session, you had a big water bottle, a big thermos, and that was a great visual. Sam was holding a water bottle for those of you who cannot see. And
I should have done that.
you have
Yes.
it for the ones watching, but it had a large bottom piece, and that was the subconscious, and then like your analytical mind, and so that was really cool too. But I thought that was funny. But no, I think that was beautiful, and I think it's so important for us to understand that there is this other part of us that sometimes we're not using, and sometimes we're not tapping into, and something else that I've spoken about is I think if we really want to thrive, it's important for us to tap into our subconscious because, the logical mind and the rational that can all, supposedly be part of that.
The logical mind, the logical, analytical, calculative,
Yes.
strategic mind, that faculty the creator has created with a very, very phenomenal purpose. If you have a beautifully functioning mind, it can help you in your survival.
Yeah.
What is survival? When I say survival, I don't mean that, you're out on the road and you're, trying to survive the next day, or you're marooned on an island and somebody is shooting a film about survivor. No, I'm not talking about that rudimentary survival. I'm talking about everything, nearly everything that we do throughout our 24 hours of consciousness is aimed towards our survival, our driving, our relationships, our talking, our trying to make money, our, making care, sure that we have a nice house to live in, taking care of our body. All these are basically the basic these things of survival. When a human being wants to transcend, when we want to go beyond survival, at that time, this conscious or logical analytical mind, its faculties fail because its faculties are limited towards survival. So basically what happens is, in any of my sessions, what I'm doing is I'm taking you, or I'm transitioning you from the physical to the non-physical dimension, from the objective to the subjective dimension. In the subjective dimension, logic does not work. It falls apart. And because it falls apart, that is the beauty, that is the magic that is created in that realm. See, look at it this way. Right now, you and me are talking. Everything is making so much logical sense. Now, tonight, you may, go into a dream state when you are in Delta. When you are in that dream state, you might see that, you are maybe you're in your classroom and you have your physics exam and you have forgotten and you're just out there and you're wondering, oh my God, what should I do? This illogical phase, or this illogical realm, is that magical realm in which we get to work out a lot of these patterns which are holding us back and limiting us. And we get to work them out, I would say, in my opinion, simply because we do not understand, or we are not able to use the faculty of logic out there. Had we to be able to use logic in our dreams, then it would be a different story. So
yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And I love that you started talking about dreams, because we've also kind of previously discussed that. So we've got some good background there. Beautiful explanation. I love it. Okay, for my next question, there was something that you had described during our time together about this transitional period of life. And you spoke about the cycle of our lives in regards to how we are close with spirit when we come into life, and then how sometimes through society's conditioning, we may lose that. And then as we get closer to death, that window kind of opens back up. So I was wondering if you could speak on that for everyone.
Surely. Now again, I will reiterate this. This is my story. Okay, this is my slice of truth. For somebody else, they may find this, whatever, they may find it different, and I respect that. So you do not need to believe a word that I'm saying, but somewhere, if you let it sit, and if it aligns with you, if it resonates with your heart, then, it can be very helpful. So basically, I kind of explain the story as, think of it as in a circle. So circle has these 2 points. If we draw a line between these 2 points, we divide the circle into a, half a circle and half a circle. So I'm going to tell you first the story of this half. When you are born here, till around the age of 5.5 or 6. Now remember, this is nature, so there is nothing perfect or certain. You could be 4, for in some cases it could be until the age of 7 or 8. But usually till about 5 or 6, you are open to the dimension beyond. What is this dimension beyond? It is basically the non-physical realm, or what people call as the spiritual realm. Why? Because you have just come from the spiritual realm. So nature is slowly helping you in the first 4, 5, 6 years to very gradually transition, so that it is not a very jarring kind of you're dropped into a physical body, and now suddenly, for a long time you were in this non-physical dimension. Now you're suddenly in a physical dimension. It'll be a very jarring experience for the little baby. So very slowly nature brings you in. While it is bringing you in, the veil of illusion, what we call as the veil of illusion or the analytical mind, is very slowly developing. That means it is not full on like you and me and most of our viewers may be experiencing. What happens during that phase? And during that phase, you will see that children sleep a lot because they are astral traveling. They are still working out many things in their sleep. They are still integrating. They are still establishing that connection and whatever they need to do. Around 5.5 or 6, the veil of illusion slowly starts setting in. And as it slowly sets in, this goes on for a number of years until you're maybe about anywhere between 17 to 21. By 17 to 21, that veil of illusion has been set very solid. When that veil of illusion is set solid, we start seeing everything around us just the way it is. That means we start believing in this dimensional or physical reality. Nothing wrong with it. It is just the way it is supposed to be. We have come here to play this game with the veil of illusion. We have come very consciously. It is not some negative energy or something who has put this on us or something. We have come here very willingly to learn the lessons of our life, to be able to conduct this journey. Now, from about, let's say, 18 to the point of death, 44 to 48 days before the point of death, this veil of illusion remains solid. Sometimes there are a few times when the veil of illusion might open up, and there can be hundreds of reasons for the veil of illusion opening up. And what those reasons are, we won't go into it now, but I will just give you a few examples so the viewers can relate to it. Sometimes, if you have had or experienced a feeling of deja vu. What is deja vu? If I ask somebody what is deja vu, can you tell me? If I ask you what is your feeling of deja vu? Please tell me.
Okay, it's hard to explain. I feel like I've been there before. I feel like I've seen it before, right? Okay, that's what I would say.
Perfect. So I would say that 99% of the clients who visit me, when I ask them, and if they say, yes, we have experienced deja vu, their description will be very, very similar. I feel that, I've been there, I've done that. This is so familiar to me. This is so intimate. Why does that happen? Now, this is again my explanation. People may have other explanations of deja vu, but this is how I feel. So I'm going to share this with you. Right now, I feel that in my reality, I am the only Sam sitting here. But there are parallel realities which are happening in the same moment as I speak. These parallel realities are a tiny fraction different than the reality which I am living right now. These realities are, think of lines on a notebook. Supposing the middle line is your lifeline and you're going from your birth until your death. All the other lines below and above it are representing these parallel realities. Now, sometimes what happens is, not sometimes, first let me tell you, we all come with the veil of illusion. Think of this veil of illusion like, because I come from Ocala, which is the horse capital of the world. I will use this analogy for the moment, that you will see that horses, they put blinders on so that the horse can just look straight and keep going straight. Because if these blinders are taken off, they'll start looking everywhere, and then the rider will have a problem. Think of it in the same way that you and me and everyone, we come with these blinders. When we have these blinders, we are only able to look straight ahead in front of us. And what is straight ahead in front of us? That just this Sam or this reality exists. Sometimes there is a kink in nature. When there's a kink in nature, these blinders, they suddenly open up or they fall down. The moment that those blind doors open up or fall down, now, without knowing why, I'm suddenly able to see the parallel reality of this Sam who might be half a moment or a moment ahead of me or behind me, doing something that I've already done or I've already seen, or that familiar feeling happens. When that happens, you will realize that first your heart will respond to it by suddenly saying, wow, what a fantastic. And that spike of higher vibration or the higher positive emotion, you will feel that. The moment the heart feels that, this guy who's the left brain panics, because the left brain says, what the hell is happening? I need to protect Sam. This is an experience that I cannot fathom. I cannot analyze it. I cannot understand it. So what it does is, the only thing that it can do to protect you is to kick in fear, panic. So automatically it drops your vibration in that millisecond. The moment that vibration drops, that negative vibration sends a signal to the universe saying, hey man, something is wrong. Why is Sam seeing this? Immediately the universe says, hey, he should not be seeing this, brings the blinders back. That is why for most people, the feeling of deja vu, that experience of deja vu, will last for a few moments, 3, 4, 5 seconds, because the universe does not want you to be simply be able to be looking at all realities and then get lost in that.
Yeah.
So these are some protective mechanisms. When you are, if you are dying a natural death, that means not an accident, a murder, or a suicide, then 44 to 48 days before, nature slowly starts opening up this veil of illusion. At that time, you might see, if you have a close one in your family or if you're working in a hospice, you might see that the old people will start talking a little strangely. They might say, oh, I can see my mother. Oh, my friend who had gone away, he's calling me. Most people will dismiss them as, oh, the old man has lost it, or these are the drugs which are affecting their mind. It is not so. It is basically that veil of illusion is opening up, because again, nature or universe wants you to slowly transition. When you leave your body, your being is going to go back into that non-physical dimension. It does not want a very jarring experience for you. So it is slowly opening up the veil of illusion for you to warm up to it, to get used to it, so that you can start communicating, making your arrangements in a, call it in a very gentle way, meet your guides or whoever is going to be with you, um, and you're basically making arrangements so that you can disengage from this dimension and slowly engage with the other dimension. I know this all sounds too weird, and I don't blame viewers if they say, oh my god, like this guy, is he high on something? I'm not high on, so don't worry. This is just my perception.
Yeah.
If it aligns with you, fine. If it doesn't, I
No,
respect.
I love it. I love that explanation. I mean, it really resonates with me. And I think it's a beautiful way to explain it. And, nature is made to survive and support us. And it just makes sense in my mind. So thank you for explaining that.
Thank you.
Okay, Sam, what would you say to anyone who may be afraid of death?
Beautiful question. Beautiful
Yeah.
question. I'm telling you, this question is, I think, one of the most important questions anybody should ask themselves. Yet, our upbringing, our programming, our conditioning by the most well-intentioned people on this earth, they feel that death is a topic which you should never discuss, never touch, never go there. If you really look at death from just a sensible point of view, death is one thing that is guaranteed. The moment you come to life, we don't know how long we are going to live, but definitely death is guaranteed. And according to what my master Sadhguru taught me, Death is only for the body. For life, there is only life, life, and life. Because life is infinite. But people have made the body and life, they have gotten these two things so identified or so entangled that they do not know that these are two separate things. When you experience yourself, your body, and your mind, and when you experience the distance between you, your body, you, your mind, that is the time that the grip of the fear of death, you can be able to drop it very easily. For 41 years, not for 41 years, but I'll say that when I was about 32 years of age, I don't know what happened. I used to cry like a baby in the shower. And why? 32 years old. I was doing fantastic. I had come to the US. It had been about 2 years since I had come. Beautiful job, everything happening fantastic in my life. But when I used to step into the shower, that was my only time when privately I could cry. And what was I crying about? I was afraid of dying. I did not know what was scaring me. There was nothing going wrong in my body. No doctor had told me anything. Yet I was scared of death. So death is only of the body. Today, after the interview, I'm going to remove the shirt. I'm going to put it for washing. Am I going to cry about it? No. 7 days later, I might wear another, I'll be wearing this shirt again, maybe. But maybe after I put the shirt for wash, I'll pick up another shirt. I will wear that. And like that, it'll go on. That is the same way life keeps going round and round. It'll come, it'll incarnate in another body, whether it is that of an animal, a plant, a stone, a human being, an alien, whatever, a chicken, a fish, whatever it might be. And until we learn the lessons of life, we keep doing this. This is not the first time. Hopefully, I hope it is the last time. But even if I have to come, whatever, for how many ever lifetimes more, that is perfectly fine. And it will keep happening until I have exhausted all the life lessons that I need to learn, all the experiences that I need to have, so that I have regrouped all my fragments. And until I start feeling whole, this will continue. So again, short explanation is, number one, if you are afraid of death, you definitely need to look at it and not try to hide from it, or not try to stay away from the topic. And if you need more explanation, try to find someone. Try to find somebody like me. Try to find somebody who can talk about death, somebody whom you can talk about death with, and who's knowledgeable, who's not going to simply tell you some things about heaven and hell which they have not experienced. Because only if at all there is a heaven and hell, let us say that let us say there's a possibility of heaven and hell, then it is only a person who has died, or the life which has left the body, that is the only one who can tell you about it. So yeah. I would say, unless it is in your experience, please don't believe in hell or heaven. Just look at the way you are creating your life right now. If you are enjoying life, that means you are in heaven. If you made your life a miserable life, that means you're surely in hell. So let us see how we can bring you out of hell, if at all you believe in hell and heaven.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think a lot about that in the mind as well. Heaven is your mindset and hell is your mindset. And so anyways, that's getting into another topic, but I love that explanation. And I think it's very important for people to, look within themselves and find, what more is there about you other than this body? What are the depths of you? And I think that's important to start looking at if it's not something that you've looked at already. So, okay. All right. Here's a big one. What are some of the main forms of trauma that we go through and hold on to during our lives?
Okay.
It's a big one. Maybe some of the
definitely
a couple of them that pop to mind.
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. See, when we talk about traumas, there can be two kinds of traumas. I mean, there are several kinds of traumas, but I'm just starting out with this. One is the traumas which we are unaware of, which may be from coming from past lives. And then there are traumas of this life. Even when we say traumas of this life, I will again divide it into two segments broadly, generally. 94 to 96% of the traumas that you have experienced since you were born, you have forgotten. Just 4%, which we yet remember, are keeping our lives, in a struggle. Imagine if all those 94 or 96% of the traumas you remembered, literally, we might, cease to exist. We might drop down dead. So thank God that we don't remember those. But just because you have forgotten those traumas does not mean that they are out or they have gone into thin air. All those are still residing in your subconscious. Your subconscious does not forget anything. So traumas are there. Now, what kind of traumas? Traumas can be sexual, emotional, physical, intellectual, so many other kinds of traumas can be there. And usually QHHT does a phenomenal job of being able to let go of those traumas. Usually what people will try doing is, especially when they have some traumas, known or unknown, they will try to disguise them or try to use a crutch or try to use some coping mechanism. It can be drugs, alcohol, food, sex, shopping, watching movies, whatever, something to keep us distracted. So that is more like a band-aid which you keep applying on the top, but as long as the wound is festering within, as long as the root is there, it is not going to really do anything to the trauma. The other side of these traumas is what creates it. So it is all these negative emotions, or what we call as the lower vibrations, which will keep these traumas alive. And those are basically the stories which are associated with those traumas, that, he came, then he did this, and because he did this happened, and all those kind of stories. The other thing which is involved is, when you look at the emotions, what are the emotions which are keeping any human being enslaved or shackled? Fear, guilt, shame, anger, resentment, jealousy, possessiveness, hatred, resistance, all the lower emotions. And unfortunately, society has taught us that these are the emotions that, as long as you hold on to them, nobody will be able to harm you. So people sometimes think that sometimes there are people who are proud that they are angry, and because they are angry, nobody can harm me. The problem is that all these lower emotions, what we use to build walls around ourselves, initially, yes, fear is meant so that, supposing I have gone twice to the kitchen when I was 4 years old and I touched a hot pan, it sizzled my skin. And then fear told me that, okay, the third time if you do it, it is going to hurt you again. Okay, that limited part of fear I can understand. But when you let fear then, just become as if like, I've got to live fearfully so that way I'm always protected, that is, I think, a very foolish way of living. Because most people who come to me, or a majority of them who come to me, they have built so many walls around their heart. These walls earlier they built in childhood, at that time when they needed that protection, when, they thought that they were being abused or molested or whatever happened. Now those very walls which they used to protect themselves have now become their own walls of imprisonment. So now they find themselves imprisoned behind those walls. There are so many times, I'll tell you, people come to me and they will tell me that my spouse, my friend, my lover, They are so loving, but I am unable to feel their love. I know that they are genuine, but I am unable to feel. Why? Because of the walls that they have created, that tomorrow, even if God comes and pours a bucket over their head, they will not feel that love, because they have made themselves into that way. So I think I went a little off the question, but your question was, can you please? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. We're talking about the kinds of traumas and like things that we hold on to. So I'll leave you with this because I think that you answered it perfectly. How does going through a session with you help us release this trauma? And if there's any examples you can give like of a past life as that would be wonderful.
Definitely, definitely. See, for example, okay, I will give you an example of, let's say, somebody who does not even know that let's say that there is somebody who everything is going on fantastic in their lives. But let us say that this woman is about 38 years old. So she calls me, and this is not just one woman. I have several such women call me very regularly with a very similar story. That Sam, I'm about 36, 38. All my life I've been very healthy. I eat healthy. I do moderate exercising. Everything is, generally it is good. But I've noticed that since 2 years, I have started adding on a lot of weight, and I'm unable to get rid of that weight. And I'm diligently exercising and eating. I'm not eating junk food or something like that. Can you help? Usually, I will tell you the story when I regress them, what comes out. In some past life, I don't mean the immediate past. It could be, 400 years ago, 300 years ago. We don't know, and it doesn't matter. In some past life, maybe when they were about that age, 35, 36, 32, 34, they experienced or they went through a famine. In that famine, the moment of their death was, or the reason of their death happened because their body did not have any food to eat. Usually, whatever happens during the last few hours before your death is what is remembered by the being which exits the body. Let's call it that way. In this case, the memory was, I died because of no food. Now, what happens is, in this lifetime, the cellular memory, which is on the body, it has memory, it has intelligence. Every cell has memory and intelligence. When that time comes, when this person is about 35, 36 years old, those cells in the body say, oh my God, that time is coming again. If I don't protect, if I don't accumulate that fat, this person is going to die. And automatically that intelligence kicks in. Now, what is this person doing? This person doesn't know anything about past lives. This person is saying, well, I'm trying to eat less and I'm trying to exercise more. Well, what is happening on the cellular level, on the memory level, on the energetic level? The memory is saying, my God, this woman, she's so stupid. She doesn't know. She needs to conserve all the energy. So whatever she's trying to expend outwardly from the conscious mind, the memory on the body is trying to hold on to that fat because it feels that now she is going to die in a few days, in a few weeks, in a few months. So that is why, that is one of those things that if you have died in a famine, your body, when it comes time, when that meter is set on, it will start conserving fat automatically. So if you see something like that, this is one of the reasons. This is not the only reason why somebody may not be able to lose weight. Another example is just about a week ago, I had this very young, very fantastic kid. He was 24 years old. He came to me, and one of his things amongst his list of whatever he wanted to achieve in the session was, he said, Sam, and he came in like this. He came in with his top two buttons of his shirt open. And very nice boy. And he told me that, Sam, if anybody touches my neck, or if I wear any kind of a chain, or even if my own collar comes and touches my neck, I feel very uncomfortable. And I said, yes, okay, I understand. I kind of was guessing what the thing might be, but I didn't tell him anything. When he regressed, he, in his one of his past lives, he had been hung. Why? Because he, though the boy who came in, he was a Caucasian, he was a white American, but in his past life, he may have been a dark colored man
Yeah.
who was lynched and who was hung by a rope. Now, whatever that memory left on his neck, even though he's in a relationship and he has a very loving girlfriend, even his girlfriend, she cannot touch this part. So as soon as he went home, I asked him, man, how was it? In a day, he wrote back to me that those sensations, he's able to handle anything and he's able to touch it.
I love
So
that.
just by revisiting that memory, see what happens is when you revisit a memory, you are not going through the trauma. You are looking at the memory and you are the observer. When you are the observer and this is the memory, there's a distance between the observer and the memory. When there's a distance, there is no identification. When there's no identification, there's a distance. You are able to drop the story or the energetics in that story. And when you drop that story or the energetics, now this becomes a static memory and you become the observer. You might remember what you saw in your past life, but it does not have a hold over you anymore.
That's so interesting. It's so amazing. I mean, I'm blown away by all of this. And, I can definitely find parallels between my past lives and, things that were happening in my life. And, I think it's so nice how you just said to be able to distance yourself. And the way you put it was perfectly, because I was even, interested in the answer to that as well. And I think, having support and releasing that or gaining a new perspective is huge. So you guys got to go see Sam. Okay, a couple more. What is a misconception people might have about your line of work?
About my line of work. Okay. I
Yeah.
think one of the first misconception they have is that, I mean, the top two I would say is number one, for some reason, some people are a little fearful, I think, about hypnosis because they have seen on the stage that some hypnotist comes and he does this and they all fall down like this and then they quack around like ducks and all that. None of that happens in a QHHT session. See, the stage hypnosis is so that the hypnotist can entertain 500 or 1,000 people out there who have paid money to him. He is not doing something to hypnotize the people who are with him on stage to help them find their life purpose or to enhance their life or to bring clarity, healing, or wisdom to them. When somebody comes to me, the purpose is extremely different. It is to bring clarity, wisdom, and healing to you. To bring clarity, wisdom, or healing to you, you need to be fully in control. One of another misconceptions that people have is that they are going to be knocked out, as if they are going to have, like, maybe some 5 or 6 drinks, alcoholic drinks, and they are going to be all totally intoxicated. No, 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 no. Work cannot happen in intoxication. You need to be actually aware, not just aware, you need to be super conscious. Now, when you become super conscious, you may feel that, oh, am I hypnotized or not? That is a different thing. We talk about that in a different way. But sometimes people come in with this misunderstanding that, hypnosis means I'll be out of control. No, you're not going to be out of control. You're going to be fully in control. I might be knocked out. No, you're not going to be knocked out. You're going to be super conscious. Another thing which people may sometimes, they have this concern is that they may, sometimes people ask me that if I have to revisit my past traumas, will it traumatize me? Will I be able to handle it? This is the profundity of this process. It is neither my limited intelligence nor your limited intelligence which is deciding which lifetime you revisit or experience or feel or imagine or visualize or fantasize or whatever the case might be. It is your higher self That infinite source of love and wisdom, which is deciding what you need to see or visualize to bring yourself healing, clarity, and wisdom. And that infinite love and wisdom chooses the appropriate life, not to traumatize you, not to trouble you, but to help you. It is like your own loving mother. Would your own loving mother get you some traumatic these things and try to scare the hell out of you? No, she will get the most, the ones which will help you. She's there to nurture you. That is how your higher self is, the most loving entity that you can ever connect with. So yeah, these are some of the things that people.
For those who might be skeptics, what can you offer them in terms of the healing that is accomplished during these sessions? And when you answer this, I would love for you to tie in the chakra scans that you do.
Good,
you know what I mean?
Hey, I will tell you, I have skeptics, atheists, believers, agnostics, humanists, all kinds of ists coming to me. But these are all titles and labels that either society has given us or we have put on ourselves. When you simply look at the core of who you are, you may be going by gender, you may be going by body, by race, by color, by religion. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, all you are is a life which is throbbing inside this body. So whether you're a skeptic or a believer, if you come in with a sliver of openness, it will happen. Now, when you come in, I use a very sophisticated technology. If some of you know, if you've heard of this, it's a Russian technology. It's called Kirlian photography. It measures the energy in your body. So we get to see how your psycho-emotional state is. I'm not a doctor. I do not diagnose your health conditions. But looking at your chakras or your energy centers, or looking at how your energy is functioning on a functional level from your head to your toe, we can see very objectively, even for a skeptical person. You see it on my laptop. It is not me who's telling you woo-woo. You don't have to believe in me. You are looking at the scan which I do using your fingertips, and it comes out on the laptop, and you can see how you are vibrating energetically. Supposing you are doing not so good, then after about 4 or 6 hours after the session, I may choose to do another scan, and in that you may see the difference as to what energetically you have done for yourself, because you are the healer. And it's a very objective view, because it is technology. It is not Sam's belief system or Sam's nonsense that you have to listen to. So it is a fantastic validation, especially for skeptics. And I will tell you that it is amazing to see. Occasionally, I have therapists, I have doctors. I think I may have even had one scientist who has come to me, especially when they have been rooted in science, in logic, in proof, in being able to reproduce the same thing again and again. Somewhere, when they listen to their heart and not just their mind, when you listen to your heart will guide you in the right direction. If this modality is appropriate for you, your heart somehow or the other will keep pointing you until you listen to it, and will bring you healing and the clarity what you need in your life. I've got so many people, they'll call me from all over the world, and they will say, Sam, we don't even know what you do, but something kept pointing us towards you, so we called you. They don't know what past life regression is. Some of them don't believe in energy work, but they just listen to their heart. That is the beauty of it.
When I'm gonna share the story next week because it'll take
Please.
forever. But I
Yeah.
had a dream, guys. Sam, you were in my dream that told me, well, there were clues to pointed to you that were in my dream. I had already been interested in past lives, and so I'll share that one next week. But it was pretty cool. And then after I reached out to you, I had more dreams about you. So that was really, really interesting. Okay.
Please understand what this is.
Yeah.
This is the resonance of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I really urge your viewers to look into these modalities, look into Heart Math Institute, look into these things, because these things unfortunately are not taught to us in school. But if you bring them in your life can be really enhanced.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's get one more in here, Sam. What is one of the most unique lives you've had described? If you can think on one to share. I know it's perspective in a sense, but
Yeah, it is difficult for me to say unique, because it is not like, all lives are similar. But I will just share with you something that uh, I was impacted by, because I'll be very frank with you. It is rarely that somebody whom I regress goes back into their previous life. People may go back hundreds of years, people may go back thousands of years, people may go into the future thousands of years. But to have a person, it has happened only about maybe 3 or 4 times. And this lady who had come to me, she was about 35 years old. And, probably whatever led her to me. And she had, I was very, very appreciative that she was able to very nicely and openly share this problem with me, because she was looking for a solution. Her problem was she had been married for 10 years, but she was unable to become intimate with her husband. She had been intimate only once. She said, Sam, can you help me? I said, let's see what we can do. When I regressed her, her first scene was she saw herself as a 7-year-old boy in her just the previous life, okay, last life, sitting on a beach. And I said, okay, let's go home. Let's see how your house looks like. She said, he said, I don't want to go home. Why? Because my grandfather molests me. So I said, okay, it's okay, let's go. So we went home. There, whatever, the boy pointed out, this is the bedroom where my grandfather does this, whatever. Then she got moved to the another scene where she was a middle-aged man, probably about 35, 37 years old. I said, what are you seeing? She says, I am catching the hand of a 9-year-old boy and I'm walking home. How are you feeling? No, I'm feeling very afraid. Why? Because I am going to do the same things that my grandfather did to me. And she's quiet. She's not at all happy about that. Then it moves on into whatever details. Then she skips and she goes to her last few moments before she's dying. And she's saying, I'm a 65 or 67-year-old man and I'm dying. I'm an old man. And when I look back at my life, I have done the same thing that I never liked my grandfather to do. And she went through that life. After that, I asked her higher self, why was this life shown? What is the connection with her life? And her higher self said, she needed to see all these things in order to release the memory of her previous life so that she can be happy in this life. And that is beautifully it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's that power of, the space that you were talking about, being able to watch something and then learn the lesson by watching it versus living it. I think that's really powerful. Man. Well, Sam, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. Let's do this. Can you leave our listeners with one last message? Anything that comes to mind, to heart? What would you want everyone to know before we wrap this up?
Yes. See, I will tell you that my life and your life is not really much different. It is just that I was very blessed and fortunate to have opened up this spiritual journey for me, which I've been on for the last 15 years. And in this journey, there have been several times that I may have reacted inappropriately, especially within my family. And it was my 22-year-old son. I don't look at his chronological age, who guided me in the last several years to open up my heart, energy. All the other time, I was only using my mind. Not only, but majority of the times. And that is what most of us in humanity do. Please open up your heart. If you don't know how to, try whatever modality that you can. Try whatever channels that you can. Open up your heart, because once your heart opens up, you will be functioning from the heart, and your heart will guide your mind to be able to function, so that you have a joyous life, or life where you're living in acceptance, appreciation, gratitude, love, joy, bliss, ecstasy, enlightenment. But that can happen only through your heart. So please do whatever you can to live through your heart, so that you're not reacting through the mind, but you're responding with love or joy or acceptance or gratitude or appreciation through your heart.
Yes, beautiful. Let your heart guide your mind. I love it. Yes. Okay, Sam, how can those who are interested find you?
Okay. I would say, usually people will say, go to my website or something. I will say, don't go to my website. You type in my name, Sam Joshi Okala, and Google will bring up my business listing. In that, there are several people who have been touched positively in different ways, who have left their reviews. Please don't believe a word that I say, but believe what they say. See how their reviews, how their energetic signature that they have left for you resonates with you. If it resonates, that means the echo of your truth is bouncing with what you are reading and is coming back, and it says that yes, this aligns with me. If this aligns with me, please see how you can help yourself. That is the easiest way to find me, Sam Joshi Okala. Put it in Google and read a few reviews, and then let your heart guide you.
I love it. And guys, we'll also put Sam's links down below, but you heard it. Go Google him, read those reviews, because they're beautiful. Absolutely. And, Sam, again, I really want to thank you so much for coming on today. I just think that you are so inspiring and you are so kind. And I think everyone can truly feel the love that you exude. So thank you for everything that you do. Truly.
Very much for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Sam. All right, guys. Well, this has been an amazing episode. I really hope that you think about everything that we've discussed today and use it to open up your perspective. And again, lead with your heart, and that will therefore show your mind the way. So if you did enjoy this episode, everyone, please use it to inspire those around you. And I will see you next week on In a Spiritual Sense. For those looking to connect further, please feel free to send emails to info@inaspiritualsense.com or hit me up on Instagram at @spiagno. That is SPIAGNO, where you can find weekly inspiration and updates. I look forward to connecting with you.